Um, all right, we are here with Lisa Escue, a real estate agent extraordinaire in Trophy Club. Thanks so much for joining us.
I am so proud to be here, Brian. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. So when I first moved to Trophy Club, you were our real estate agent. Here's your. I remember seeing your sign all over Trophy Club and thinking, all right, this Lisa Escue, she must be. I mean, she's everywhere. And the house that we bought was on Carnoustie, and in Trophy Club. And you were our agent, and you were the selling agent to it as well too. And it was so smooth and so easy that when we bought our other property over on Hillcrest, it was, Hillside. I can't even remember my own address. At Hillside, it was also super easy. You were the buying and selling agent, super easy. So as a real estate agent, what does your job entail? Like, how long have you done this? Kind of what's the best and maybe worst thing about your job?
Brian, I've been doing this 20 years. I've lived in Trophy Club 34 years. So the people I knew that in my sphere of influence, the strategy is always to find people who know, like, and most importantly, trust you. So word of mouth in a tight-knit community like Trophy Club is really what keeps my business flourishing. I would say the number one thing you have to do if you're going to sincerely earn a living is you've got to identify clients. And how do you identify clients? Yeah. And generally it's that sphere of influence that we talked about. And I would say, most of my clients aren't my best friends, but they're a one-off from a sphere of people, which I think is kind of unusual, but I think that's what keeps them my friends because, we're not tangled up. There's no question about my motivation. And there should never be a question about my motivation. My motivation is to take care of people. Right. And when I take care of people, money takes care of itself. So identifying clients, matching people with properties. That is really, I tell people I put puzzles together all day. I have people calling me wanting to sell. I have people calling me wanting to buy. I'm keeping track of what's going on in the market. How do I put these two together? So that is kind of the magic part of this, when everybody's expectations are realized and they get the house they want and the sellers get the money they want and everybody moves on. And that's the best case standard. Yeah. So what do I do after we've identified this matchmaking kind of process? Well, you negotiate a contract, make sure you have a win-win situation for buyers and sellers. You oversee inspections and repairs, make sure that the buyer feels 100% comfortable with the property they're buying, that they want to proceed onward. And then it comes more of like a project management kind of role. So our job as a realtor, we coordinate with a variety of people, inspectors, lenders, title companies, appraisers, surveyors. So all those people play a role. So a lot of moving parts of which we don't have direct control, but yet we are to keep track of. Right. So that's kind of the more businessy, processy side. So I think you can probably tell that to be a residential realtor, which is what I am, there are a lot of soft skills required to get the attract your clientele, to keep them on track, to have some kind of savvy about condition of houses, what it takes to repair, what's a big deal, what's a little deal. I am by no ways an inspector, but I've been doing this 20 years. I've been following around. I kind of know some key points. I can help manage client expectations. Yeah. And then you go to the business side and try to keep all those parts moving together.
Well, and it's interesting because I think actually when we got our house on Carnoustie, you were the agent for it, but Sharon Johnson was kind of our direct contact for that one. And then for our Hill Place, you were our direct and our agent as well. And I know Marshall had a Lisa Escue sponsorship on the back of his Little League jersey, or maybe it was Henry's, one of them. I don't know. One of them had it. I remember taking a picture of it, sending it to you. And when I have questions about real estate, I mean, I text you. You're my go-to expert in this particular industry. There was a property recently. I was like, wow, that seems really underpriced for Trophy Club. And you're like, well, there's a reason for that. And so I think there's some good there. And I think that creating that network, I think probably for you, like working with people is probably a really good part about the job, but also working with people can be a difficult part of the job, and being able to kind of balance all of that. For you, do you invest in real estate yourself? What's kind of your real estate investing? What kind of things do you go into with your money, or where are you at?
Well, and it's a great question. Let me just kind of back up a little bit. When we first got into Trophy Club, my husband and me here, we're working for IBM. They're paying for us to go back to school. And my husband actually went back to UNT, got a master's degree in real estate. Dr. Bain there is awesome, and we still follow him. And so we kind of got this bug of, man, buying investment, that'd probably be cool. And so we had friends that lived in Trophy Club in a small house. They were getting ready to build a new one. It was going to take 6 or 8 months for it to be completed. So we just went to them and said, hey, how about this crazy scheme? How about we go ahead and buy your house right now? Let you lease it back from us until such time your house is ready. So what's the benefit of that? Well, at that stage of our lives, we didn't have a lot of extra cash. Okay. Yeah. We're kind of scraping up bits and bytes to kind of cobble this together.
Right.
So when I went to the bank to get a loan, I said, okay, here's my purchase contract. Oh, and by the way, here's my lease agreement. So I'm going to be able to count that income in addition to our own paychecks to qualify for the mortgage. So that's kind of how we got started. Now, since that time, we kind of had a little bit of a divergent path, and we have started investing in vacation rental condos in Orange Beach, Alabama. Wow. So that's been a really insightful process. Mark has ended up being on the board of directors there. So I kind of have the backside scoop to this as well. So when we start talking about condos and townhomes, I can kind of light up on those kinds of situations. And then because my kids, they have recently graduated. One's in Montana, the other one's in North Carolina. The markets there, real estate markets, insane, having a hard time locating property. So we ended up buying townhomes for both kids. Wow. So Evan's in Montana, he pays us rent. It covers our note. Leanna, we bought her one. She just got a new job. She's going to be able to buy it back from us. Wow. In January. Okay. But the markets were too competitive. We couldn't win a deal with financing. Right. So, and this is probably more than your folks want to know, but between you and me, Brian, we used our home equity line of credit on our primary residence here. Yeah. So we could buy for with cash, and then do what is delayed financing, which is a cash out refinance you could do before 6 months. Okay. So anyway, then we started getting that rolling. I've still got my home equity line that I can use now to buy another house. So our vacation rentals, then they seem like they'd be more work than just a straight rental. Is that the case? Or, I mean, we're going to interview another guy who does that as well, but is it a harder thing? Is it way more profitable? What's the story on that? It's so interesting. First of all, Orange Beach, Alabama, we are in Dallas. We have to hire a management company. Okay. So the management company takes care of the scheduling, the cleaning, the repairs. Then the building has an HOA that does all those kind of common area. So I would say I am probably overly involved by virtue of Mark being on the board. And so I know the ins and outs and ugly, but as just an owner that's not totally invested, it's not a bad gig. I think, and we bought these right before COVID hit. Okay. So we were like, oh, lousy mercy. We are stepping into unknown territory. But I think what has proven up to be the case, and I think it will be at least for the short term, people are always looking for vitamin D sunshine. They probably aren't as comfortable just jumping on a plane going anywhere. Right. And it's driving distance from so many, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida people come there. Right. So we have seen a great return. Is it a better deal than Destin? Like I'm looking here at this, and Destin's over here, and am I already past Destin? Keep going. Keep going. Fort Walton. That's right. There's Destin right there. Destin. So Destin. It's 3. If you're driving from Dallas, it's 3 more extra hours to get to Destin. Okay. And I look at this as Orange Beach Gulf Shores is the Destin of maybe 20, 25 years ago. Okay. So we think we're kind of getting in, and we've seen huge appreciation just in sales prices. Right. Their inventory really slim. Our
Mm.
timing was really right. And
Yeah.
so it's been interesting to kind of see how that unfolds.
Interesting. Okay. Well, one of the terms I've got to go through, the state has got terms that the kids have got to learn about. One of the terms that we've got to go through is short sale. And that is, I know it's, I put a little thing here as well. And, you know, in real estate, a short sale is when a homeowner is in financial distress. So they are in trouble with their house. Maybe they just lost their job or something. And they have to sell the property for less than the amount due on the mortgage. So they bought the house for 500,000. It's now only worth 400,000. I don't know. Is that right? Or what is the
Brian, you're in my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Because after 2007, 8, and 9, the market was flooded in foreclosures. So I was working for Remax. Remax goes to all the big banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and they said, hey, we know you behemoth organizations are used to originating mortgages, but you don't know nothing about letting them go.
Yeah.
So we put up a certification process for a short sale specialist. And so I went back and got my short sale specialty designation. And so people and banks and local banks and then institutional investors were trying to unload this market. And you have to remember why we got there, because we had a really crazy credit situation.
Right.
People could buy houses with no money down.
Right.
I remember, you know, I had realtor friends in Las Vegas said, you know, busloads of people would come from California and Oregon, and they would just tour houses. And they would just write 500 contracts in a weekend because it was so cheap.
Right.
Las Vegas still hasn't recovered. But so what do we have there? We had people that did not have enough equity in their house, and they didn't put anything down anyway. So they just said, I'm done.
Yeah.
So it was a hugely frustrating process for a realtor, because we're used to having motivated people on every side of the deal.
Right.
So that was a horrible situation. Most markets have hugely recovered. Las Vegas is one of the laggards because they had so much investor property there.
Yeah.
So what will I say to you now? If somebody calls me for a short sale now, first of all, I go, oh my God, no. Why do you think this needs to happen?
Right.
If you've lived anywhere with any quality of life, you have got equity in your house.
Okay.
There's absolutely equity in your house. So let's don't give that to the bank. Let's figure out a way not to give that back to the bank. Let's extract your act. If you've got some situation, there are lawsuits that can, you know, impede this. There are other business complications.
Right.
But if just something happened, you lost your job, you can't make your mortgage, you're throwing up your hands. No.
Yeah.
Most everybody can sell their house right now, walk away with something, and not damage their credit.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I mean, moving to Texas in 2002, I had read all the books about real estate and get involved and buy real estate. And there was the ninja loans, and there was all the loans that you had. There was like no income, no verification, nothing. Now I had a job and I had, you know, money coming in, and but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have Lisa Escue helping me. And so honestly, like, I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, I had mortgage brokers who took me for 8% interest when it was really like 5.5 or 6. I had people selling me into adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, and I didn't quite understand it. And some people would say, oh my gosh, that's the worst thing ever. Honestly, it was bad, but it was an education. I had just paid $16,000 a year to go to college and learn, and I was getting a first-rate education in real estate by making mistakes. And I honestly think that was okay, because by the time 2007, 2008 hit, you know, Triumph Sports was running well and we were doing our thing. And the ARMs, the adjustable rate mortgages, I've talked at length with my students about that, went from, you know, $800 a month payment to $1,400 a month payment on multiple properties. And I'm going, oh my goodness. And I can see why people would walk away from a particular property. It's just we've all seen The Big Short, and there are people that just left their keys on the doorstep and just walked away. And so I think that, like, we talk and hear about getting people to help counsel you. We talked about and hear about, you know, getting an education in the real world, and you can't really learn about something until you have some skin in the game. I mean, even buying crypto or buying an index fund or whatever, you're not going to really track Robinhood unless you have $100 in there or something, and where you're starting to kind of figure it out. What is it about? And by the way, I mean, driving down Indian Creek, you know, Drive on my way to school today, I see a person who has a for sale by owner sign in the front of their house. does that make your blood boil? Do you feel like, or do you feel like, you know what, people think they can do it themselves, it's fine? Or do you feel like there's a real missed opportunity there for a homeowner who just doesn't quite understand what value a real estate agent can bring?
You know, it doesn't make my blood boil. It kind of makes my heart hurt.
Okay.
You know, I would say, because, you know, people say, well, you know, I bought or sold 3 or 4 houses. I'm like, you know, that's awesome. You know, the market changes every day. And
Right.
there's so many nuances to getting a deal done properly. There's
Right.
something to be said for an exposure. A realtor can send your house virtually all over the world in a way to market it.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I'm hired as a realtor, my job is to give my listings the greatest exposure to the potential buyer in the world. Well, if for sale by owner, for the most part, he's only going to attract the people that drive by his house.
Right.
So how many people is that, Brian? I don't know, 4,000 people,
And
maybe.
Lisa, that was the case in 2014 when we sold our house on Carnoustie. You know, we listed it above what we all thought it was going to be worth. And the buyer of the property, you had a special sort of viewing of the property. Since you were the listing agent, you had several people come through the property prior to it actually officially going on the market on a Monday. So you showed it on a Sunday night. And, you know, you had a buyer immediately offering us more than what we were asking, first of all. But then secondly, the person wrote us a letter and was like, hey, here's the deal. We are pregnant and we want to have our baby here. We want to raise our kids here. Please pick us. And I'm like, you're offering me over the asking price. You're writing me a letter. Okay, you're done, you know.
Well, they wanted to make it worth it for you.
Right.
They wanted to make it worth it, because the other option is to go on the open market, have showings. You had kids. You know what I mean? Life was going to be a little complicated to go through that process. So it was a win for you.
So like minute 1, 12:01 a.m. And when the property officially goes on the market, we had an offer and it was off the market by 8 a.m. that morning when you got us the contract and I signed it. We were like, we're good to go. And so it's like, to me, I couldn't have attracted a California buyer like that, right? I mean, I just wouldn't have been able to do that. So I think there, you know, like, it's funny, people say, oh, well, you can save this percent or that percent or whatever. Attorneys, accountants, real estate agents, I feel like their value is there. And I think a lot of times we are pennies cheap and, you know, power. What's the saying, you know, where we value like saving a little bit of money and we don't realize the type of, return we could have gotten. Is when it comes to condos, you know, that's the project the kids are going to be working on. And, you know, there's a lot to think about. I remember before I moved to Texas, I was in Dana Point, California, and there was a $160,000 one bedroom, one bath condo in 1999. And I almost bought it. It was a quarter mile from the beach in Dana Point. But I remember getting the HOA fee, like looking at that, and it was like $600 a month for just the homeowners association fee that went with the condo. And it's like a 700 square foot. It's tiny, one bedroom, one bath, tiny little thing, but they could charge kind of whatever they wanted. And I remember thinking, what does the homeowners association cost? And it covered the common areas like the sidewalks and the grass being cut and like all of that kind of stuff. So when buying a condo, I put a list here of kind of things for the students to think about, because they're going to be pitching their friend. I think Freddie is his name. Freddie is trying to buy a condo and he doesn't know which condo to buy. Why are all of these important? Or what's the importance of these?
And you know, people think it's easy. They think, oh, condos will just be easy to buy. And at first blush, that's probably true. But, you know, I think and we may talk about it a little bit later, but when you buy a condo, you basically own from the walls in on the unit. Okay. So you own the walls, the cabinets, the floors, and all that.
Right.
Collectively, all the owners participate in a homeowners association for those common things: the roof, the exterior, the grounds. So that's what that fee is for. Okay. And then we can talk. You said Freddie also has a desire for some amenities, and we'll talk about that too.
Right.
So, and it's ironic. We're just helping a young man right now moving from California, wants to live in Uptown, wants to live in a cool condo. So this is so fresh on my mind. Your timing was just brilliant. So he is in commercial real estate. So we're going to swap in software engineer, but I would say probably a lot of like-minded kind of concepts. His job is in Irving as well, and he definitely wants city life as well. So this is all good. So so remember, townhomes are properties that share a wall with another unit.
Okay.
The owner owns the ground,
Right.
and they own their unit, and they share it with the wall. And then there's usually some common space.
Right.
But when you said that amenities were really important, then that automatically kind of disqualifies townhomes.
Okay.
Because really, the benefit of a townhome is denser. You're going to kind of share some maintenance cost, but townhomes HOA fees are much lower because the amenities don't really exist. So when you said, okay, we want a townhome or a condo, and then you added amenities,
right,
that really just knocked out townhomes.
Okay.
So today I chose to just focus on condominiums because of that reason.
Okay.
Okay, another good point. What's the difference between a condo and a house? Traditional homes, single family detached homes where the owner owns the land as well as the structure that sits on it. Yep. They are responsible for all yard work, maintenance, and repairs. Their insurance covers the walls in and everything out. So higher insurance rates. You don't have any amenities unless they came with the house, and then you're paying for them. So yes, and privacy, I think, is one of the tipping factors.
Yeah.
You know, kind of communal living. Some people are just, you know, they're not into that. They live.
I got tired of having neighbors above me and the side of me and their music, and they're running on the treadmill at 6 a.m. I'm like, you know, it's okay. Like
that's right. That's the trade. That's exactly the trade-off. Exactly the trade-off. So you got to decide, you know, what's your tolerance for just being up in people's space.
So let's go to you. You had 4 condos you wanted to show us that. And by the way, by the time they air this in a couple months to watch you and to potentially look for a condo, these properties are probably going to be gone because the market's so fast. But for right now, give us what you would say, like if you were looking for Freddie and Freddie was like, here's the deal. I want amenities. I work in Irving off the corner of Beltline in 183. You know, I don't want to be too far away, but I'm willing to be a little, he doesn't know if he wants to live in the burbs. He doesn't know if he wants to live in city. He doesn't know if he wants a hip condo or not. You sort of are kind of getting a guy that's kind of knows what he wants, but kind of doesn't know what he wants. Probably your average customer anyway, right?
Yeah, and by virtue of that product type, you're really going to find yourself in more urban settings. Dallas was slow to come around on the condo townhome concept to begin with. So we are very underserved in that market. So geography, if I plotted all the condos and townhomes, it's going to be all Dallas uptown. You'll have a little bit in Irving, you'll have a little bit in Fort Worth. So I picked 4, and I kind of wanted to give, and I kind of did like, you know, the love it or list it or whatever kind of categories.
And so by the way, the students plan, they're going to have to pick something that's less than 400,000. So you also had to narrow it down by less than 400,000 as well.
And so I tried to give you a variety of things to kind of think about. So the first one I would call, this is your prestigious area. This is in the Preston Hollow area. It's a slick condo.
Preston Hollow, you're not messing around in Preston Hollow. That's where George W. Bush lives. That's where Mark Cuban lives.
Right?
Yeah.
You can run into him at the restaurants across the street. So
go shopping at Tom Thumb with George W. Bush.
It's a very cool condo. It's on the 6th floor. It's got wide open views. It's one of the lower price, but it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I think you're going to love. It's built in '66. It's got kind of a little bit of a classic charm. And the condo association fees are $868 a month.
Can you click on that? Can you click on that MLS listing? Let's take a look at that. And how do you find them? How do you find the HOA fees? Where would my students go to look to find that?
Okay, if you look in MLS, well, if you look in any realtor portal,
okay,
consumer portal like realtor.com, Zillow, all that kind of stuff, it should have that for you when it
$868 a month.
Now
Holy
look at
cow!
this.
Is there caviar evening dinners or what is this?
But look, this is a really big
Oh,
building. It's
yeah.
a really big building. And then we look down here and we say, okay, we've got 2 concierge level parking spaces, all utilities, Wi-Fi, cable. There's a lobby, bar, saloon, pool, fire pit, tennis, then dog park, 24-hour hotel desk. They'll accept your packages for you.
Does your listing show us more pictures? Is there more,
Yes.
or does it just give the building look? Is that the one right off? I think that's the one right across from Park Cities Baptist where I run camps.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Okay, that is a nice building. That is a really nice building. I'm there
I'm like,
all
we're
the
gonna
time. Yes. Wow.
go big
Okay.
or go home, right?
Right.
So
Go
this
big
is
or
the
go
1
home.
bedroom, but look at that view, Brian.
That's Park Cities Baptist Bell right there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There you
Look
go.
at that. Look at that deck
I
all
got
the
no
way
excuse for
across.
missing church. If I'm there, I gotta go, right?
You gotta go. You'll feel guilty. But here you go.
Wow, what a view. Oh my goodness, that's 400 grand. That's unbelievable.
No, it's 317.5.
317. What a deal. Oh my goodness. Freddie's gonna
It's
love
1,000
that.
square feet.
Okay.
So it's not a bad size for a 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
That view is stupendous. When we were talking about location, this is what you got to think about. What is your view? What are you overlooking? How's the noise? Do you hear road noise from the tollway? Those are things
Right.
to consider. So I just thought this was a really, really cool option.
Okay. Okay. And you got your next one here. All right.
So next one, we're going to go downtown.
Downtown.
Going to Deep Ellum.
Deep Ellum. Wow.
Mr. Edgy Freddie may feel comfortable being down there with.
Got to get a tattoo or something, right? He's got to have a tattoo and a piercing of some kind, right?
Right. Okay. So this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It is $399. It is 1,400 square feet. So half again as big as the last one we saw.
2-bedroom, 2-bath, and the HOA fee is $460 a month. That's way less than the other. Why is it so much cheaper than the other one?
Not the level of amenities.
Hmm.
So when you've got a full service 24-hour desk, you've got all these other things, kind of labor intensive, if you will,
Yeah.
and a lot of common spaces. So here there's an outdoor living area, there's a pool and a gym, and there's basement parking. So no front desk, none of those kinds of.
So did the other property have like a bellman then too? Like,
Yes.
Wow. So he's like, "Hello, Mr. Simpson. How are you
Yes.
this evening?" You're like, I don't know. That'd be kind of, I don't feel self-conscious, like knowing what am I going to say to this guy every time I come in the door. I don't know. For me, that was just like, we got to make conversation with him.
But there's really something nice about having somebody there 24/7 coming in and out of your building. So here we are in Deep Ellum. You kind of got more of this loft effect with the exposed ductwork and the beams.
Lisa, those are really cool pictures. I mean, the person who's taking these pictures, that is the lighting, the whole, right? Is that, am I missing?
Super important.
Okay.
Professional photos, only way to go in my book.
Okay.
But look, built in 98, so you're going to have, the latest and greatest, and relatively speaking, cabinets, appliances.
And it's been staged really well too.
Yeah, that always makes a difference, doesn't it? But you can see, this one is on the first floor.
Oh.
Now, that may be convenient, but it also may be loud.
Right.
You may also see a lot of movement in your window.
Right.
You got to decide how exposed you want to feel.
Someone might feel like might get broken into.
Right. And notice you said it had security. So when they say that, you're like, okay.
It's not a safe building?
Well, not a safe area necessarily, if they feel the need to do that. But I just think this is a really awesome space. So I'm calling this our city.
The amenities too? Do they get that in the photos of the do they show the amenities as well?
Let's see. Some agents do include that, which they should.
I would think I would want to see that. Oh, it looks like they didn't. They just did the condo. Maybe the amenities aren't very good. Maybe that's why they.
That's always what I say. What's left out is more telling than what's here. So the next one is in urban. So I'm like, okay, Freddie may think, okay, there's value in being closer to work.
Right.
So I have named this condo Great Roommate Situation.
Okay.
This is priced at $325. It's 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
And a half bath is what? What's a half bath?
half bath is going to just be a toilet and a sink,
Okay, so no shower.
no shower.
So you
And
would
when
have your own, you'd have your own bathroom, full bathroom. Your roommate would have their own full bathroom, and then you'd have a half bath when your friends come over and they don't have to go like step on your underwear to get to your bathroom and your bedroom, right?
Exactly. There's absolutely value in that. And not necessarily if Freddie wants a roommate, but boy, for resale purposes,
Right.
that opens up a pretty nice opportunity.
Sure.
So this is in Irving. It's a nice place. It was built in 2007, so much newer. It's 2181 square feet, so twice the size of that one bedroom we started with.
Yeah.
The HOA fees are $578.
Lisa, let me ask you something. When someone goes to buy a condo, and I know we're shopping for Freddie right now, and he's a single guy with no kids, not married. Do schools ever matter to people in condos, or are they just like, I honestly don't care what the high school or school system is?
I would say it is not as high a priority.
Okay.
If I'm representing a buyer on a condo, I tell them, I know you may not care, but the next people may care.
Okay.
The next people may care, and that makes a difference in resale. Absolutely.
It makes a difference, but in Freddie's situation, he honestly doesn't, give a rip about
And if
that,
this
right?
is his first place, he's probably more excited about living in a scene that he feels comfortable in.
Okay.
And if he's not worried about sending kids to school and not all that concerned about resale value,
Yeah.
I would probably encourage him to live the good life while he's unencumbered.
Sure.
Okay. So I think this one's a really cool. I mean, you're still, good location with Irving, great access to highways and stuff like that. We'll take a quick peek here. You can see.
Oh man.
That loft kind of exposed area.
Love the loft. The loft is cool, man.
And so you can kind of see the bird's eye view here. Nice big open kitchen, fireplace, tall windows. There's your amenity.
Okay.
Kind of a lap pool, patio area. There's your gym, deck. You can kind of see you got someplace to be rather than sitting on top of each other.
Right.
So a really, really good option for $325. Okay. Now, just to mix it up a little bit, I went to Fort Worth.
And just an FYI, I got about 2 minutes left before the students
I'm going to be quick.
hanging out my door here.
Okay, so this is in Fort Worth. It's $350. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet.
This is downtown.
HOA
Downtown?
is this is downtown,
Okay.
and you will see it right off of 30. Used to be the old T&P Railroad.
Oh, right. That's a cool building.
It's a really cool building. But here's the deal. You can walk to the basement and get on the train. So that I'm calling near public transport, because I think that is seriously awesome. You can get on the Tex Rail or the TRE, right, and just leave your car. So really cool options, very kind of different profiles. But I think all four would be exciting to live in.
Can you show us some pictures of that one real quick here as well? Just curious,
Sure.
kind of being a downtown. I mean, that building is super neat. Oh man, look at that. That is so downtown hip. This bike on the wall.
I mean, this is the vibe,
Wow.
this is the vibe. It's got a really cool downstairs area. It kind of is almost a ballroom. People can rent that. I've been there for weddings and such.
Yeah.
It's just, a whole different experience.
And I think that's where we got on. I think that's where we got on the train to go to Grapevine. Like we got on there and rode it back to Grapevine.
Yeah, it makes a stop there.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So,
man, super hip.
Right? And look at the nice view.
Yeah.
Redone bathrooms, because I mean, some of those are kind of really dated. This one's had nice updates. Look at the funky windows.
So Lisa, knowing what you know about, these four properties and Freddie, from what you know about Freddie, let's say Freddie had emailed you all the information and you'd never talked to him before, without actually meeting him, without actually showing him these properties, which one would you think would be the best one for him?
I would probably see him in Deep Ellum. Wow. or the one in Fort Worth.
Okay, interesting. Why?
Just because of all the extra stuff that's around there. Okay. That one in Preston Hollow is cool and all that. probably going to find a little bit of an older crowd in that building.
Yeah.
These, I think he's going to find a little more mix.
Okay. Interesting. Well, gosh, Lisa, man, I appreciate all this. Is so great. This will really give my kids and my students a perspective on like what, how do we shop for a condo? How do we value a condo? What is the, what is the way, and what would Freddie be potentially looking for in a condo? And they have really anywhere they want to go. They can go anywhere in the Metroplex for this particular condo. And so, that's just fantastic.
Well, I hope I was helpful.
Yes.
In January, if you want to revisit any of these topics, it's my favorite thing to talk about. So call me.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you.
You're so welcome. Bye-bye.